Hello, lore heads, and welcome to the League, exploring the League of Legends lore from A to Z. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm John.
My name is Mark.
Today, we're going to be talking about an AU, the Alternate Universe Coven, which is under the umbrella of Eclipse. It's the Eclipse AU, and beneath that, there's Coven and Elderwood as well. Mm-hmm. But we're really just talking about Coven today because it's October.
Yeah,
spooky.
Eclipse is also, I feel like under the Eclipse umbrella too, in case it's got its own sub thing. Because sometimes there's a higher umbrella that's not even part of the
lower umbrella.
Yeah.
Well, you can't be under the umbrella that you are.
Whoa.
I want right? That's deep, man.
Thanks.
I want this all illustrated. The hierarchy of umbrellas.
Right.
There's a lot of champions in this. Like every universe we've done so far, I have a hard time putting the pieces of the story together because mostly they give you a very vague 2 to 3 sentences, about the universe, and then they tell you all the champions who are in it, and then a very vague paragraph about them, and then they're like, there you go, guys.
Right. You got the jigsaw pieces.
Figure it out.
You're missing some, but...
At least in this one, I felt like a lot of them are doing really similar things. So it's here's all the pieces, and they're all pretty much the same color. Here's a few that are a little different. It's like, oh, fuck, okay. This is one of those blank ones.
After reading 5 of the Coven paragraphs in a row, I'm like, okay, so this is not a lot of variation here, which is fine. Not every AU has to be high noon, right? That's just what we'll say about all the AUs.
Yeah. Now, it is worth mentioning, I should Death Blossom and Omen of the Dark are also under this umbrella. It's a 5-part universe, Yeah, I will say we will need to touch a bit on Eclipse and Elderwood as part of this, just in the areas that they do overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Enough that I thought answered questions for me, and I kind of moved on. I did not dig super deep into it. Okay.
Now,
well, luckily that's what we're here for, right? We're here to we've read it all, right? So we can theoretically distill it into some sort of consumable essence, right?
Now, I have here 2 things. Mm-hmm. I have the official lore blurb.
Nice.
Which,
Sure.
The witches lay in wait, a sisterhood of frightening pulchritude, their hopes whispered forth from desacralized lips. They speak of the bloating corpses of old gods, of ancient rites carried out with magics long forgotten to mortal mind, of the return of what they call order, but others call suffering. Hark, mankind's end fast approaches. So that's what you get for that blurb. It doesn't tell you a whole lot about how we got here or what it is or anything, so I also prepared my own, just fast and loose, this is what Coven is.
Yeah, a summary, if you will.
Yeah, a summary, if you... Look at Mr. College Words over here.
I was gonna say
you went to my fucking Harvard words, pulchritude, and what was the other one?
I know.
I know we've looked these up before.
Yeah.
But I have plumb forgot them, so I was looking them up while you were saying them.
Literally, I read it when I was first reading it. It was not a good entry into the Coven AU for me. I'm like, well, you just made me feel like the biggest fucking idiot. With the first 2 goddamn sentences, I don't know what you're talking about, and I'm a writer.
Well, you're not busting out pulchritude every other paragraph.
Right. No!
Sprinkle a few of these in there, because I know that word, organically.
I am currently writing a novel that I will hopefully be the first one published. Should we right now say that I need to work one of these words into the book somewhere?
Make it pulchritude, because I'm still not 100% convinced that desacralized isn't just a worse version of desecrated.
Desecrated has better mouthfeel.
So what's pulchritude? I mean, I keep wanting to say pulchritude.
Beauty is what it's of. Beauty? What Google. Yeah.
So the one that sounds like pultrid is beauty?
Maybe that's what the author was going for, right? It's
disgusting.
The
grossest word for beautiful. I like that. I like it in theory.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Someone remind me though, because I'm gonna forget by the time I go to bed tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's text that word to Rebecca every day.
Everyone, right now. Here's my number.
Splashes on the screen.
I'll put it in my little notes.
All right.
Good tattoo.
Nailed it.
Well,
So I'm going to go ahead and give my summary
Sure,
while
yeah.
you write that.
Hit me with it.
fuck you, I got it.
So back in the old days, everyone worshipped the old gods. Things were good. Maybe. I feel like actually in terms of information that we have about what times were like back in the old days, is at least just reading Coven and the bits of the others that I read, I don't hear a lot of people saying like, wow, this sucked. Everyone hates the old gods now and everything, but I don't know. Maybe times were good though. But anyway, Kale loved her god. Kale really loved her god so much that she's like, I'm gonna eat it. I wanna be one with it.
Right.
Her god was the sun. So she just went ahead and ate it.
Hashtag boss bitch. Right there.
Turns out eating the sun, way too much power for one little angel lady.
Too much fun.
Ooh. That toilet trip afterwards.
Essentially, except she passed on all her shit to the Eclipse Knights.
Wait, so she pooped on?
She passed.
Spiritually,
it was
kinda,
too much
yeah.
power, so she was like, "I'm going to
Metaphysically,
distribute
sort of.
bits of my power to
Okay.
all these other people instead."
Seems more like a
She kind of went mad
vomit.
with
Yeah.
all the power and then passed it on to people. And
Which
then
bodily function do you think it represents?
Let us know in the comments, how did Kale get rid of this power? Did she shit it? Did she puke it?
she just
Hashtag be pooping.
Sweated it.
Hashtag be puking. Anyway, sorry. We're just trying to get through this.
So anywho, with that power that all these knights had, they were like, hey, we can kill all the other gods now. Fuck them. Which seems like she may have been pissed about at the time, because it said it was like, wow, this was such a betrayal, and but also she kind of now views the ultimate act. She views destruction as the ultimate act of devotion now, which kind of mirrors what she did with her sun god anyway.
Oh, okay.
Because she's mad now. Anyway, over time, the old gods, who can't actually really truly die, started whispering to their followers and growing a coven that could resurrect them fully. And that's what covens doing nowadays. They're just fucking going around doing rites and recruiting more people and sacrificing folks and just trying to get the old gods back. They're venturing into the Elderwood, because that's kind of where a lot of the old gods died. Like, they died and the Elderwood grew on top of them. So they have to venture into the Elderwood a lot. The Elderwood, not a fan of Coven. They're just murdering them anytime Coven gets near them. So, there's kind of a push and pull there where Coven's like, I gotta get in there. My gods are there. And Elderwood's like, meh, 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 meh. We're gonna kill you for it.
I feel like it's a little deeper, more sophisticated.
No, I'm pretty...
Okay.
There was actually... That was a quote.
Yeah.
Who said the
And then each other eat
That's
bugs.
Jared Rosen.
Shut the fuck up. I was gonna say Ivern.
Is that it for the summary? Sorry.
Yeah, that's all I got
Oh,
for the
okay.
summary.
Okay. Yeah. That tracks about with my understanding of it. I wish I knew more kind of what the world was like, because I can understand the Elderwood, I understand the Coven, and I kind of understand the Eclipse Knights, but like, what's everyone else doing? You know what I mean?
Right? What are the normies like here?
This is our
mean,
same
we see-
Noxus problem, huh?
I mean, we see a little bit of it, I guess, in like the one story with Nocturne, because they're sort
Yeah.
of. We see like a
yeah.
noble, like a low ranking noble, and some wood toy
Carver.
makers. Yeah, I was gonna say cutters, but that's not really right.
I guess they start as woodcutters before they become wood carvers. They got to do one before the
Yeah.
other, right?
Salt of the earth, right? Common folk, right? And then yeah. So I don't know. It's I will say, like, as you're describing it, I think I kind of like this almost as like just a fun setting for like a dark fantasy
Yeah.
adventure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't have thought so until I read the short story, but that was fun.
Yeah, it adds more life to the world, because it really
Sure.
does just seem like if we were to just read the bios of each of the champions. Like, it really does just seem like, just everyone in the world's a witch.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it was very confusing at first.
Yeah. I think it's a weird missed opportunity because, like, a commonality we see with them is that, you know, they make mention very early of the elder god that they serve, but there's not like it's like none of them are shared, really. I mean, there's like a couple instances, I guess, but for the most part, everyone's got their own little. It's like everyone wrote their own OCs or something, you know?
Right? Like, they all have their own god, and the majority of the ones mentioned don't actually tie back to a specific champion. Like, some of the old gods are champions, and some of them are just names. Maybe they'll be champions at some... Maybe they'll just kind of, like, shoehorn them in somewhere. Like, I mean, some of them seem like they could have parallel. Like, Ebony Ram. Like, yeah, that could very obviously be Ornn if they decide to add him to the AU at some point. You know, their Half-Light Jackal could be a few people. But there's only a few that are actually champions right now. It's hard to connect with them in the same way, you know?
I think that, and also it makes... as I read it even... it just makes the characters kind of feel very, like, siloed, I guess I would say. Like, if you think back to, like, Project even, Project had numerous factions that kind of had goals, and they interacted with each other, and, you know, there were sometimes greater threats that caused them to kind of set aside differences. Like, if you look, even at, like, Project and then Command Line, they have, like, their own little, like, faction within it, right? So, like, characters are on, like, certain sides, and obviously all the Coven people are in the one big coven, I guess, but you know, for the most part, I wish maybe there was kind of, yeah, right. Like, there are exceptions, I guess I would say, and I think those exceptions are the ones that, like, I find really interesting. But a lot of them, again, like we said, you're reading it, and it's like, okay, they serve this god, and they're gonna kill some knights, get that god back.
I hate those guys.
I hope they still have like Coven meetings though, even though they all have a different god. And it just sounds like they talk about their boyfriends or something.
Yeah. Like, I would have thought maybe you'd do it more like a Star Guardian setup where you'd have like 2 or 3 covens that teams,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it'll feel more complete when we've gone to the Eclipse Nights and stuff.
Maybe, yeah. Because I mean, we've got one instance where someone goes Coven to Eclipse Night, so
sure, yeah.
It's the one connection we've got.
Well, that's the one thing we got. What? Oh, yeah. But, all right, so how you want to dig into it? You want to just kind of, like, run through them? You want to talk about ones you think are particularly interesting?
I did write my own synopses for all the champions. So I have all the champions here, but I don't, you know, I don't have all of their official lore blurbs here. I've got my own shit, you know? Which is very similar to their lore blurbs. It just takes away a lot of these lore blurbs. The opening sentence is like, they came to them, and then they describe how the god is reaching out to that member of Coven. They came to them through the insects. They came to them through the breeze. They came to them through the frosty mountain.
I hope they just have a bowl that they pick from. What do they got? The strawberry brushes. Okay.
I guess.
You said bowl, and I thought you meant like they got the message through like their Cheerios or some shit, their alphabets.
Oh, I do love that too.
Spelled out Coven.
Oh shit.
So yeah, I mean, I should have put it in order of like importance, but I kind of put it in the order that they're listed in the
which is alphabetical.
Yeah, it's just alphabetical. Yeah. So I guess we'll start with Ari. She worships the Half-Light Jackal. She still sucks on souls like good old-fashioned Ari, but she doesn't keep them. She transfers all that shit to the Half-Light Jackal. We've got Coven Akali, who was chased into the Elderwood and basically told she could either die there or join the Coven. Makes me wonder how many other Coven members were joined that way.
It's basically how religions spread, so, you know.
Oh, shit. We've got Coven Ash, who worships the Jet Black's Ibex, who's said to command winter herself. Though the description was about how every arrow she shot had the power of the icy mountain, which is just the power she already had, so it doesn't really seem worth selling your soul for. But, you know, who am I who am I to pass judgment? The Jet Black's Ibex is one of the ones who actually is a champion. That is Malphite.
Indeed, yeah. I thought that was neat. That comes from is that a skin or is that a Runeterra skin?
Good question.
I think it's a Runeterra skin.
I think it might be.
Or is it both?
Let's see. It might be both.
Yeah, I think it's both. That's still pretty. That's still like that's a like neater. I think I wish maybe more of these old gods were champions. Maybe I don't know. Although to be fair, Malphite doesn't have a lot going on, in that he's just a big mountain who's going to crush everything. He's going to squish everybody.
He really is, yeah. He's just a big guy.
So it's maybe he's not the best example.
And then we've got Coven Camille, who worships the Ebony Ram. She seems to be like the mouthpiece of the Coven, basically. She's just going around spreading disinformation and dark magic across the land.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting they described her throat as being full of hearsay. At first I thought it was like, is that a mistype of heresy?
No, she's just lying about fucking everyone.
I guess when you say hearsay, though, like, I don't read it as like, oh, she's fooling people. It's more like, I don't know, it's got like a connotation that to me felt kind of weird. I don't know why, but it really stuck out to me. Hearsay.
I think like there are some quotes, I think, that would lead me to believe that like Camille is actually maybe talking shit about the Coven when she's going around.
Interesting.
You won't suspect she's part of the Coven if she talks shit about them.
Yeah, that giant.
I forget who it was. Maybe Morgana, I think, had quotes towards her. It's like, do you want to lead this, Camille? Like,
that was a great Morgana impression.
Hey,
Camille, you want to lead this? Now come in, get a slice, get out of the way.
I'm coming over here. Okay, that's interesting though. All right, like that's okay. I don't mean to keep interrupting you, but like as these little ideas come up, the idea of like there's sort of these being politics in regards to like between the Coven members of who's leading it and whatnot, that comes up every now and then.
Yeah,
I wish maybe that was also, if that got more play, I would be into it too.
Because especially, it seems like it would, right? Like, everybody's got, like, their favorite old god. So it seems like there'd kind of be a lot of cattiness here, Like, how do you prioritize which old god gets revived first, right? Like, if your god's revived, do you help the other one?
A Real House Witches of the Coven or something.
Oh my god, yes. Real House Witches of the Elderwood. Oh, shit. Oh, dude.
Please.
Dude, can we pay people to, like, make a 5-minute skit of that? I'll pay money for it. I don't know. Okay.
Content creators out there, please.
Please. I don't know how to do it.
I know we don't have artistic talent. Come on.
We can make something that's really bad and not funny. We do that.
We're very good at that.
Every week.
That's a talent of ours.
Okay.
Anyway.
Next up, we got Coven Cassiopeia, who worships the Silver Cobra, who is like one of the few that also is just not a different shade of black.
I guess that's true. It was like ebony.
You've got like half-light, jet black, ebony, black. They just go with black. Ivory is kind of out of left field, but yeah, silver was. Do
you think with like jet black, it was like, yeah, I'm gonna make my color's gonna be black. It's like, oh fuck that dude already picked black. Jet black, and then the guy in black's like, fuck, damn it, should like jet black.
Super cooler. Jet black,
pitch black. Yeah, right.
Oh man.
Okay. All right.
It's funny because Malphite has a skin that's just obsidian Malphite, and they could have gone with obsidian, but they did. They went with jet black.
They messed it up.
Obsidian's a way cooler word,
right?
It really is. If it's one word, it's cooler than 2 words. That's the rule.
That's the rule. Half-light jackal, fuck that. Dim.
Dim
jackal.
Dim jackal. No,
well, like
hang on. I think
jackal,
half-light
right?
is better. Call him Jack. Dim Jack.
It just sounds like that movie from Tropic Thunder now.
Simple Jack.
Right?
Fuck. I'm gonna pee my pants. Okay, anyway, what are we talking about?
Anywho, Cassiopeia
Okay.
hunts the ruling families of humankind. So that's kind of some interaction with the normie folks.
Yeah, that was what I
She kills
remembered.
them.
And she has a sculpture garden of people who strayed too far from the safety of castle walls.
Aw, man, she's so cool, though.
That's very cool.
And then Coven Elise doesn't have anyone that she specifically worships, as far as I can tell. But it's said that, I mean, first of all, Coven Elise is just Elise, from what I could tell. She traded her humanity for the powers of an old spider god.
Right?
Might as well be Vile Ma, even though it's never said. And now she lures others into the Elderwood to feed it. So, you know, it's just Elise.
Yeah.
What would they call it? They would call it the Ebon Maw, is what they would call it, or some shit like that.
God, isn't that what that other one was called? They had
I
the
mean,
Vile Ma, and I think there is an Ebon Ma, wasn't there?
I don't know.
God, it
Float
sounds
Ma.
so
Is that
familiar
why-
when you said it.
Is that why that word came to my
Maybe.
brain? That's very
Yeah.
interesting.
I know, right? As I read the next one, I'm also going to look this up. How am I going to do
Coven
both at the same
Jana.
time? You'll never
She
know.
worships the 1,000-pierced bear. Seems to be a dedicated defender against the Eclipse Knights who might try to stop the resurrection of the old gods. That was a really good impression you just did of me, John.
Thank
Damn.
you. For the record, yes, Ebon Ma was the original Twisted Tree Line spider.
Oh.
Wow, really? Was this? Hold on. Now you got me messed up. It's a dragon, right? I'm looking at it now. It's a little dragon, and then they
What?
turn it into a spider.
Oh. I was like, what? There is a spider in Twisted Tree Line. How dare you?
Oh, right. You right.
Then it became Bauma.
Yeah.
Our.
Which is a way cooler one because it would dance with you when you danced in the pit.
Coven LeBlanc.
Coven LeBlanc. Did you do Jana and skip Evelyn?
Does it say skip Evelyn?
Look, sorry. Coven Evelyn.
The daughter of the Great Harrier. Who's the Great Harrier? We don't find out, and you won't either. She's the daughter of the Great Harrier, an immortal woman. Yeah, the Great Harrier is a god. It's one of the old gods. That's pretty much all we know. She seems to be more godlike than the others because of this, and kind of wants to be worshipped herself. She kind of
Yeah, she was an interesting one.
Yeah, because she was one of the few that had a Runeterra release
motivation.
too, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. Most of the ones that are interesting also have Runeterra releases, which is I guess not true for like Malphite. I think Lysandra personally, but it is more space to expand on them, which I think helps.
Yeah.
But I feel like she has like actually something resembling more of a personal motivation. You know, not the broad bring an elder god back, but you know, she, like you said, seems to have a lot of like personal ambition, which is
Yeah.
okay. That's a character, right?
Yeah, because she doesn't seem to give a shit about bringing the Great Harrier back, as far as I could tell. Like that's her dad. She's like, all right, I'm part god. I'm gonna do god stuff. I could be god.
Yep.
Worship me. So she has a lot of people that worship her.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got Coven LeBlanc. Did you read the Jana blurb too, other than the 1,000 pierced bear worshipping?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. I missed it. Coven LeBlanc worships the Black Crane. So she went into the Elderwood with a group of other witches because that's where the Black Crane's heart was. And she was the only one who ended up making it to the heart of the forest to get the heart of the Black Crane. It kind of seems like she did end up dying during that excursion anyway, but the Black Crane revived her and plans to use her as its vessel when it returns. But until that happens, she's got crazy powers.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
They've
Job
got-
LeBlanc.
Yeah, you did it, LeBlanc. Your scheme kind of worked out. You did end up dying, but, you know, it worked out.
What are you going to do? League's hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit.
We got Coven Lysandra, who worships the ivory stag, who seems to have gotten a lot more power than most for just her allegiance. Or maybe she just doesn't have any of that power yet, and it's just been visioned so far, but basically she's been promised like a veritable sea of thrall soldiers, and she doesn't seem like she had to really give up much for it. She's just kind of like, believe in me, and she's like, all right, cool. Like, all right, sweet, now you have an army. Also, the ivory stag was described as many-handed, which gives me so many questions now. I want to see pictures of the ivory stag.
I'm pretty sure you can.
Hands.
Where
I could
are
be wrong.
the extra hands, do you think?
I mean, where wouldn't they be? Really? I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you can see it in her card art, actually.
Oh, I don't know. So now I actually did not really look into
be wrong.
the
This could be a
Legends of
watcher,
Runeterra
though.
stuff at all here, except for Nyla a little bit. Nyla.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a lot that's different from them, as I recall. I think the only interesting thing I think was actually this, as I remember specifically, because there are like watcher cards in Runeterra, so it's kind of interesting. And one of them, there's like a Coven skinned watcher, which is kind of interesting. And I'm trying to pick out now if that's what's in her card art, or if it's actually the old whatchamacallit, whatever that thing is. Yeah, I don't know. I figured it. No, I don't think it is. I think there it is. It's just got a really long torso. So it's like where
So it's
your
got
arms
room for
are, and then
lots
they
of
just kind of
arms.
ratchet it up a few arms. Yeah.
Well, that was
so-
the most boring way they could have added hands. I was imagining
Yeah, I don't
udders, you know?
disagree.
Ooh.
You should see the Bale Striders. They're a little more like that. Not full udders, but udders is still pretty good. But they got them coming out all sorts of places.
You want to see some udders, girl?
I've got some
got you.
udders for you.
Right? Yeah. I was gonna say, the Lysandra one, I didn't read it that way, but the idea that she's stuck in a dream or a vision is pretty it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. It's a Lysandra thing to do.
Yeah. But the idea
Bitches
that,
always sleeping.
Always fucking sleeping. So lazy.
10:30 in the morning, Lysandra, get the fuck up. You're an adult.
Next up,
Yeah.
we have a Coven Morgana, who worships the Ashen Owl and is queen of the Coven. Her sister, you may remember, is the one who murdered the primordial sun in the first place. Awkward. So she seems to be particularly interested in the approval of the Lord of Death, Mordekaiser.
Oh.
Yeah. So she's got a good relationship with him.
You said that with like a...
I mean, maybe. Maybe. Oh. Then we've got Coven Nami. So it seems like Nami at this point has actually left the Coven to commune directly with the Leviathan, who is another old god, but an undersea old god who, when all the other ones were murdered, didn't get murdered because it was so far under the sea that the light of the eclipse could not reach it. So the Leviathan has promised her great power if she'll feed it. So she just hangs out in the waterways of the Elderwood, just looking for sacrifices. She's pretty sure the Leviathan can take all the other old gods in a fight. She's putting her money on it.
My dad could totally beat up your ass.
I thought she was the most interesting. I thought that was
Yeah.
a really neat idea.
That is. And it's so different from the character. I love when they do that.
Yeah. Although I will say her audio
I was
completely
gonna say-
veers into comedy.
It does?
I mean, they really, yes, I think so. I mean, some of it's just the way it's written. Some of it's,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a little column A,
Oh,
little
I
column
can't wait
B.
to hear some of that.
It's really
Yeah.
weird.
Like, yeah, like there are some quotes that are just very much just like, just like funny quotes. And then the quotes that are serious are just like said with such nonchalance, I guess, or just like, I don't know.
okay.
They don't land as whatever they're...
So, when we play League, we're on Discord, we're talking all the time. I've played Coven Skins before, but I've not really listened to their VO. I did not realize reading the blurbs that it would go so hard into like, hark, thy bones aren't made of candy or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they all talk like that.
Okay, now I have to play the Coven skins. I don't know if I have any with the specialized audio, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Nami one's because you're right. She does speak like Old English, but like, imagine just like, a teenage girl nowadays just speaking those Old English words.
She got like hired at Williamsburg, Virginia, and really doesn't want to be there.
Hearken unto thee.
Peddler, perhaps I will peruse your collection of dinglehoppers or whatever it is that she says.
Prithee, peddler, I wish to peruse your assortment of doodads and dinglehoppers.
Oh, man.
So it's pretty funny. I was really struck by it. I think it actually works for Nami because she's so like, I don't know, it just kind of worked for like Nami specifically as a character. But yeah, the fact that she's so like opposed to everybody is kind of interesting.
Yeah. Next up we have Coven Neela, who basically played along with the Coven until she got a godly relic with an unnamed god sealed in it that gave her great power. At which point, she decided that it sparked more joy to control a god than it did to serve one. So she's like, peace! And she joined the Eclipse Knights and took the god with her.
Damn.
Jenna is not happy about it because, classic Neela shit. She's like, hey, who's the best strong person to go kill now? Let's go kill all the old gods again, and we're going to start with the 1,000-pierced bear.
He's a
Janna's
big one.
not a fan.
Oh.
Well, I mean, because Janna worships the 1,000-pierced bears.
Yeah. Loves that guy.
Loves him.
I wish Neela had like a VO or a Runeterra skin or something.
Me too.
Again, there's more going on there. Like with her and Janna.
Now, Coven Syndra, basically, she doesn't have a lot. She worked with another witch, probably Morgana, since she's so fucking into him, to revive Mordekaiser, the Horned King.
Are all the old guys like powerful men?
So far.
Ivor and Mordekaiser, yeah.
And all the Covens, the ladies who worship them.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Do we know about Leviathan?
I assume it's Nautilus. Like if you look in the cinematic, it reads to me like a Nautilus. Like it could be a Nautilus skin. They're all monster champs, I will say too. I don't think there's anyone that's like a human. Like I guess human. Mordekaiser's the closest probably. But especially in this skin, he is. In this skin, he's looking real not human. As I'm looking
then give
at him.
me Old God and Nivea.
I know, right? She's
that
perfect.
Would be fucking awesome.
Dude, yeah. Oh my god, fucking please.
They had somebody giving somebody frozen ice magic, and they went with mouse.
Yeah, what the fuck?
That is a little fucked up when you say it out loud.
Ryan, I think maybe you don't like women. I don't know.
I think they don't like Anivia.
You know what? That's probably more likely. They still have Rek'Sai, but I don't think they like her either. And then Belva.
She would be good for this. Well, she's already so cool.
Although this is an opportunity to get the Half-Light Jackal. They now have a monster jackal lady they could...
Oh, the Fury,
dude.
yeah.
Dude.
Ooh.
Yeah, do that.
Ooh. Yeah, that is good.
You're welcome.
It's gotta be her, right?
It's gotta be.
We're banging out like killer skins as we're doing this episode.
Right. They just come out of left field and like, nope, it was Nasus the whole time.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Right.
Nasus, actually, it's probably Nasus.
You're 100,000% right. God damn, it sucks how right you are.
They're like, who should be the Half-Light Jackal? I don't know. Should we get the half Jackal light guy?
That's probably what they meant the whole time, huh? They just never made the skin. Well, now they can switch it up.
Yeah, switch it up.
Prove you like women. Yeah. Prove it. Kidding, this is so weird.
Last up for the Coven, we have Zyra, who worships the Night Dove. Uses her nature magic to destroy humanity's works of stone and glass and reclaim the world for nature. It's also kind of implied in her prestige blurb that the old gods might not be aware the sun's been killed, and when they come back they're going to be pissed, which is weird given that the Eclipse Knights were only able to defeat the old gods with the power of the murdered sun. And Morgana's quotes lead me directly to believe that they're fully aware, so who knows?
Weird.
maybe it's like it's a metaphorical because the line is like, I have it right here. It's right. They rise once more to greet their son, but she is slain, devoured by the daughters of the eclipse. Maybe like, you know, it doesn't mean they quite literally don't know. I like that idea more though, that they don't
Or
know.
maybe like, you know, they came back and they're like, we were killed after her. Surely she's come back by now. I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
She's supposed to clean this shit up. What the fuck?
Mom.
Right? Oh, that would be great, actually. Oh, that would be... Oh, damn, I would really like that, actually. Like, legit. If they were... It was yeah, I don't know.
And now we've got the old gods. So we've got old god Ivern, who doesn't... I mean, he doesn't seem like he was actually an old god. It says he's an old totem forged of witchcraft who stood among the old gods before their destruction and then was rendered inert when they died. But now he's back!
Weird.
It does say he has risen along with his brethren. So, like, maybe he was just like the awkward...
The
like,
adopted brother.
Aww. He's from Ionia.
I mean, I guess he kind of is, so... Then we've got old god Malphite, who we mentioned is the jet black ibex, who was an old god of the mountain. When he was slain by the Eclipse Knights, the mountain claimed him, and his revived form is just a massive mountain of icy earth. He's kind of like Targon, where people try to ascend him to gain his power, but only one has ever succeeded. It's Ash.
Man, that's so God of War, having to climb that, like,
Ooh,
this giant
that
dude.
is, yeah.
Would be trying to squish you the whole time.
You're like a,
You're like a mosquito. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, go get a glass of water and some tweezers. I got ash
They don't
on me.
die unless you burn them. I got ash on me.
Oh, man.
Next, we have old god Mordekaiser, the Horned King, also kind of like a god of death, who used the undead to conquer a bunch of kingdoms, but then he was killed by the Eclipse Knights. He knows he'll need to unify all of the Coven to get his revenge, so to do so, he's calling his strongest companion and oldest friend an ancient, long-dead dragon, which I feel like that's a nod to his old alt, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
For all y'all who weren't playing at the time, one of Mordekaiser's old alts, because, you know,
It's been
very
changed.
reworked. One of his old alts was that he would just kind of do damage to you over time, and if you died when that was on you, then he could control a shadow of you, basically, like a little clone of you, and, you know, pilot you around. But he could also do it on the dragon, and he could get a dragon following him around too. It was very
busted.
cool.
It's pretty cool. Like, as you say it now, it's like, let's bring that shit back. I do like the ghost zone, but goddamn, dude.
Yeah, just
Give it to
walking
some
in the
other
lane with a
champion.
big ass
someone else,
dragon.
right? Yeah.
Fucking cool as hell. Then we've got Old God Nocturne. He was an old god who died and then was grown over by the Elderwood until the resurgence of Coven. And now the eternal nightmare has arisen. He does seem much more Elderwood than Old God.
Maybe it's,
I
because
feel like-
the Elderwood grew over him.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I feel like he's taken a lot more from the Elderwood.
There's some quote where someone refers to him as confused, which I thought was kind of added to the idea that maybe he's forgotten almost, or like you said, it's become
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
And we've got Old God Elder Dragon, which this blurb here actually implies that Mordekaiser is actually older than death itself. So this dragon used to be well worshipped, and by Mord's power is hoping to be again. We've got the Thousand Pierced Bear, which is also much like Elise. This is just kind of Cannonball Bear. But he was revived by his Coven followers, and as a reward, he plans to give them untold suffering because he wasn't done his nap yet.
Right.
So he's just as nonsensical in this one.
Like, you guys picked the wrong old god to follow. You've got fucking Lysandra being given armies of thralls for just saying, like, yeah, I believe in you. Y'all revive this guy, and he's just like, you'll suffer forever for this.
John, that's if you were an old god.
I needed 30 more minutes.
I've been reading too many fucking children's book because I just imagine this grumpy bear. Like, oh, it got from his era of hibernation a little too early. Whoa. Can you help Elder God, Thousand Pierce Bear, Volo Bear get back to sleep? Quick, turn the page. Right, it's like...
Oh, yeah, I'd buy that kid's book so fast. We're giving you so many ideas right now.
Oh no, he's going to smite you. Quick, clap your hands, right? It's like...
Now shake the book to make him fall backwards.
Drink a glass of water. God. He hates that.
Gee, yeah, eat your vegetables. Keep right the carrots. Holy shit! Oh my god, it writes itself right. Please. God damn, we are so good.
We could get rich from this episode if we could make any of it. Oh man.
And then finally, we've got Old God Warwick, Father Wolf, who has a name, but nobody worships him, as far as I can tell. He just seems to like killing folks. That's kind of his whole thing. And then he was slain by the Eclipse Knights, but he didn't stay down. So he's back to his old shenanigans again.
He didn't even need a coven to come back.
He didn't.
Like, what the hell?
He's like, my purpose is too pure. I was killing folks. How dare you get between me and my murder? But yeah, that's all of them. Mm-hmm. We got a few cinematics and a short story to go along with this. I feel like the short stories, we can go over that first.
Sure, I have notes.
Good. Yeah, hell yeah. By nice. Jared Rosen.
I hadn't written a summary for anything in a while. And then Sarah asked me if I wanted to write tonight, and I was like, yes, but not my novel. I'm going to have to write notes for the... anyway. Right? This is called The Spirit of Copperwood. It's by Jared Rosen. It's basically written like a fairy tale. It's very cute. I really liked this. I thought it was more enjoyable than I was expecting. But anyway, it does feel like you're being told a fairy tale. A long time ago, south of the Elderwood, there was a family, a mom, a dad, and a little girl named Rowan. They made like really good, sick wooden toys that they would never age. You can never break them. They're just the best. Which, as a parent of a toddler, can I get one of those? That sounds great. These were all made from a tree in the magical Elderwood. That's why they were so good. They were able to do this because Rowan's great-grandfather had saved a young spirit. Do we know what that was?
I'm pretty sure it was Nocturne.
It was Nocturne, okay. Because I know they say they worship Nocturne at the end. I was like, was he the young spirit? Is it like a spirit fledgling? I'm like, oh, was it like a little baby Nocturne or what? I guess it was just shortly after he revived, maybe?
He was less of an old god.
Yeah, the less old god.
Baby god, yeah.
Anyway, Rowan's great-grandfather had saved Nocturne, and in return, his family would be blessed for 102 years, specifically. Every year, they could harvest one tree from the Elderwood forest and make whatever they wanted, and no creature could ever harm the family or their descendants. Not even Hecarim is specified specifically. Don't worry, even Hecarim won't get you.
Which, for a little context there, Hecarim is kind of the defender of the Elderwood, so if he saw somebody cutting down trees there, he'd probably be pretty pissed about it.
Yes. But they had to, in turn, never harm the Elderwood forest and only take one tree on the first day of spring. And this story really made me realize, like, how important oddly specific details are in fairy tales.
Yeah.
If I ever want to write, this is something I have to remember. Strange deals that last just a random amount of time.
Number of years. Yeah.
Anyway, the family also has to live like far away from like the little village line to signify their bond to the forest. Rowan's family had done this for 101 years. But unfortunately, on the eve of the 102nd year, a nobleman named Bryn visited from a faraway land. He saw himself as a king, but the narrator really like drags Bryn's town in the next line, and I did write it down. In truth, his lands were small, and his influence was quite minor among the lords and ladies of the kingdoms.
And his dick
His
so
dick,
tiny.
microscopic.
Like his lands.
Bryn wanted Rowan's father to make toys in the name of his house or whatever so they could be rich and famous. Rowan's father told him no several times, so Bryn was like, fine, I'll come back and I'm going to kill your family. And then he left. Rowan's father told Rowan to take some food and warm clothes and go to the Copperwood Glade. He told her to fall asleep at the base of a large tree, and the spirit that blesses her house will appear. But be careful, because he's like actually kind of a massive dick sometimes. If she's not totally honest, he will kill her. So Rowan did what he said and met Nocturne in the dream. The whole description of this part is really exceptional. The description of Nocturne. And there's one description I remember very vividly is that like his blades are dragging on the ground as he's floating around, and there's a lot of skeletons, and they're just like cutting through the skeletons without like moving them. Like that's how sharp the blades are. I thought that was very cool.
Right.
Rowan tells Nocturne about like what Bryn's gonna do, and he's like, okay, cool. If he kills you and your family, I'll kill him back. That's fine, right? Like that's good enough. And she's like, no man, we like only can live once. We only got this one life. So she wants him to kill Bryn before he kills her and her family. And he's like, fine, but let me take all your food and clothes first.
Give me your jerky.
Yeah, give me your jerky and your sweater because I'm cold and hungry.
Tater tots in your pocket? Or...
Yeah, John. What a millennial fucking pull that was. Anyway, poor Rowan gives him all of her shit and then he stabs her in the chest. But no worries, just to check how pure her heart is, and it's great and amazing. So he'll do it. Rowan goes home and her family lives well forever, and Bryn's kingdom is completely destroyed. Everyone fell into a dark slumber, and within a year, the Elderwood Forest grew over and consumed it. Apparently, you can still see this place. It's called Somberwood, and Nocturne checks it out sometimes. He's just
Myers
like,
is
man,
good work.
Good job,
I
me.
did a good fucking job here.
This place is spooky as shit.
Yeah.
High five.
Oh, damn. Poor Nocturne. He can't high-five anybody. That's probably why he's so mad.
That's probably
Yeah.
why. Honestly,
He
the
should've made
most
her-
unrealistic part of this story was when he stabbed her and then lifted her over his head.
Yeah,
I
they
feel
would
like
just go
by
through.
everything we know, it just like lift up and just fucking slices her in half. Like, oh shit.
Goodness.
I forgot how sharp these things were. Fuck.
Oh, many yards. Anyway, despite that, it was pretty fun and cute.
Yeah, it's nice and spooky, right? You
Yeah,
know,
it
the
is good and
description of, like,
spooky. Yeah.
she has to go like sleep at this tree and surround around it, or just a bunch of bones. It's like, all right, well, I guess I'll try and chill out. And
Very
yeah,
good October read. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do. I know we read this before for Nocturne, but I forgot all about the little comedy mode of like, okay, that's cool, but like you said, we do die and don't come back like you. He's like, oh right, yeah.
Oh shit.
Which is kind of how he starts the whole interaction. Is he starts with speaking some language, and she's like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, oh right, my bad, sorry. The kids are using this language these days.
Oh, that idea is not just a slang. He's got to slip it through a whole other fucking language. It's like a bajillion years has passed. This is such a good vampire comedy character that we're talking about.
I love too that the humans in this case actually like made good on their bargain.
Yes,
which is nice.
Like and it was great, and they had a wonderful life for it. You know,
Yeah. I would like the part of the Avatar, like the last Avatar book that I read, like the Avatar had brokered a peace between like the spirit realm and this town because they were warring for forever. And they were like, all right, I managed to broker this peace. God, it was a huge pain in the ass. All you guys need to do is like for the next 60 years or so, you know, give a certain amount of, you know, your crops to the spirit realm. It'll be fine. And they'll stop stealing your children, which is what they were doing. And they were like, yes, thank you so much. And then like 10, 20 years later, they're like, wow, this is kind of a resource drain, right? We probably don't really need to do that.
You know what, though? That's freaking realistic.
I know,
as
it was so
hell,
realistic.
though.
It's like-
That's what
'cause
sucks.
there was like new leaders in town, and they were like,
Exactly.
we don't have to do this
Guys,
anymore,
we don't
right?
have to do this. They lied about the stealing the kids thing.
Yeah. Guess whose kids immediately got stolen? Avatar, come help us again.
Anywho.
Anywho.
Cinematics.
We got Answer to Her Light, which is basically an Eclipse Leona. That's a mouthful. And Eclipse Leona hates the Coven. This whole thing was kind of like a voiceover she did. It said, you arrived as shadows, quiet, shifting, insidious, corrupting all you touched, all that your hollow eyes could see. Tell me, witch, can a shadow survive my light? Tell me, would you dare face me in the day once I've scorched you from the night?
All right, calm down.
She goes hard.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the god tasted like that she ate?
No, that's Leona. That's Kale that ate the god.
Oh, fuck. God. Beans.
Different
I was
aspect.
gonna say Red Hots. That's my answer, by the way, for the question. Oh no, those cinnamon balls, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Right. Like,
Red, what are they called? Red, like fireballs? Maybe I'm thinking it's the drink.
I wasn't thinking candy, but that's great. I love that.
It's Halloween,
anyway.
right? You know, whatever.
That's true. You're right.
And then finally we have the Siren's Call. There's another kind of voiceover one, but with Nami. Something lurks within these wicked woods. Past roots run deep, entangled with what remains of your forgotten gods. Tell me, sisters, what moves both dead and depths alike? It's there, the Leviathan, dreaming in the deep. I shall ensure the rising tide, and your gods will drown beneath our waters. Oh, my sisters, you are out of your depth.
That was so dramatic.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
She's very dramatic in it.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think that cinematic, the figure you kind of see behind her, the Leviathan, to me reads super like it could be a super Nautilus.
I could see that.
That'd be a good skin.
Yeah. A deeper sea Nautilus.
Yeah, the deepest sea.
And I wrote a few quotes here. I was going through the Evelyn quotes. The quotes in these ones don't like add nearly as much, I think, as the other AUs we've gone over. But some of them were interesting anyway. I do like that this version of Evelyn has just completely moved past innuendo.
Oh,
I
God.
feel like she's pretty fucking saucy these
She's
days.
saucy.
I feel like I kind of like it. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah. So, oh, the gods will rise. I'll make sure of it. Which you could,
No, she's just gonna. She's
just gonna
Coven,
revive
you know?
him. But she does follow it up with, "Old god of the mountain, art thou big enough?"
I mean, he's very tall. He could be taller.
Maybe.
just-
She's got one that's like, "Dost thou like to watch?
She's got
My
a quote.
tongue is skilled at more than incantation."
She's got a quote that says, "What is it? Mother will be proud, and father likes to watch."
Yeah.
What? What?
I didn't write it. I'm just telling you.
No, I'm not mad at you, Mark.
I'm mad at you. No.
You kind of should be.
I use every part of the body. For magic, of course. And then she's got a quote if she kills Leona. Perhaps I'll visit Diana next. So, still an item here.
Real House Witches.
Now, Nami, she has a few references in her quotes.
Oh.
That's what I do, what I live for.
Is she doing an Ursula impression?
Basically.
Okay.
She does have one, yeah.
And then, poor unfortunate knave. And the one that you mentioned, Mark, "Prithee, peddler, I wish to peruse your assortments of doodads and dingle hoppers." All Little Mermaid references. Magic is wanting something and letting thyself have it. We got a Halloween Town reference in here.
Fuck yeah.
Is-
The millennials are making the
really?
champs.
I didn't know that one.
Men fear me, fish desire me is a, it's a reference to that women want me, fish fear me meme.
Wow, I forgot about that.
And then finally, oh, woe, everyone wanteth to be mine own foe.
I wish they were all like this.
Yeah, classic Old English enemy.
I want a whole cover.
Oh, the
Like
woe, everyone wanteth to be mine own foe.
Played with like old-timey instruments and shit.
Faux,
Right?
Faux.
Just like a
Faux.
fucking...
A hurdy-gurdy getting in the mix. Oh my god.
Oh, we need it.
Yeah, the same people also do that. Do that for us too, right?
And then I've just got a handful of fun facts for you if you want them.
I do.
Sure.
Nice, thank God. Coven draws inspiration from several sources, such as fashion designers like Alexander McQueen, Disney villainesses, and Snow White and the Huntsman. The pitch they gave was high fashion witch queens.
I love that.
Before the 2023 set that recently came out, the color red was reserved for legendary skins like Morgana and Evelyn. Janna was the first non-legendary red Coven skin, followed by Elise, Nile, and Syndra.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Those little red splashes. The Coven is in a magical arms race against the Elderwood, which constantly steals the witches' looks and spells. So Elderwood Ari and LeBlanc stole their namesakes' identities. Coven Elise is Death Blossom Elise after joining the Coven. She started as Death Blossom. In the Eclipse universe, Omen of the Dark is a storybook fable that parents tell their children. However, the boundaries between reality and fiction are blurry, and it's possible the story is an interpretation of Lysandra's schemings and Kael's betrayal that morphed into folklore. And a copy of the tome is viciously protected by spectral fiddlesticks, of all people, as something bad will happen when the book is read. And Morgana has some quotes towards him, too, just about that. Ivern and Nocturne were part of Elderwood originally, before being retconned into Old Gods, which is also probably part of why Nocturne seems more Elderwood. In a similar case, Thousand Pierced Bear was not originally part of Old Gods. It was like a nod to Volibear's canon appearance in Silence for the Damned, but was then retroactively added as an Old God. And finally, in Legends of Runeterra, Evelyn controls a ton of husks, which seem to be mind-controlled or just mindless thralls for the Coven that are all, like, all about her, you know?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy October, everybody.
Happy October! Spooky season!
Spooky. Nice. Anyone watch a good horror movie yet?
I watched a lot of bad ones.
Great. Did you watch any good ones?
Not that I hadn't already seen. Nothing new that's been good so far, I think. Yeah.
I rewatched Scream 2 and 3 for the first time since
I
like,
rewatched
the 90s.
Scream 2 because Sarah said she'd never seen it, so we watched it.
I liked them so much more than I was expecting to, because I remembered not enjoying them as much when they came out, but yeah, I ended up loving it.
Yeah, it.
I'm a sucker
I don't know.
for Ghostface.
I just remember I thought it was so crazy how Ghostface became this weird everyone has a Ghostface mask. You know what I mean? Like everyone's constantly wearing them. I don't know. Is it just like a really good design? Maybe that's for another time to figure it out.
Anyway, that'll be a Patreon episode talking about Ghostface. But that was Coven. Thank you so much for listening. I did rewrite all the things we have since I erased them last time. We have a Twitch, twitch.tv/loreheads. John streams on Saturday evenings around like 8 p.m. EST. He does TFT and ARAMs with viewers. So if you want to play some games with John, Saturday night, baby.
That's me.
Yeah. We have a YouTube if you want to see our wonderful, lovely, beautiful faces. There's some clips that John posts and the whole videos if you want to watch the whole thing. That's a lot though. You can check it out on YouTube. We have a Discord. You want to find some people to play League with, make fun of us, please join our Discord. And we have a Patreon. We're hoping to do at least one, I think, spooky Halloween episode. Yeah?
Yeah.
Post on Patreon this month. Maybe we'll play some Phasmo. I think we're talking about that. But thank you so much to all of our patrons.
But a very special thank you to our Medarda tier patrons, Mr. Dead and King of Hearts. If you were being attacked by witches who wanted to revive their old gods, I would step in and say, no, not today. And I would stop.
I think you've done enough.
End it. Yeah, that's fine.
You just said stop. Legally, they're not allowed to keep reviving that dead old god.
Anyway, please be sure to join us next week as we continue celebrating October and we talk about the Shadow Isles.